Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your leadership in allowing this bill to be considered before the committee today. This bill is similar to one we introduced in previous Congress that directs the Office of Management and Budget to issue guidelines within 90 days of enactment to prohibit access to pornographic materials on federal computers unless necessary for investigative purposes. Now, it's unfortunate that this bill is even necessary. The committee learned of several instances of sexual misconduct in the federal workforce, and we held no less than 7 hearings directly related to this topic in the previous Congress. Stories of federal workers watching pornography and, while on the taxpayer's dime are unacceptable. As you may recall, one employee at the Environmental Protection Agency was viewing pornography at work from 2 to 6 hours a day for several years. There were 20,000 graphic images were found on an employee's government-issued laptop. Another employee had 507 graphic images on their computer and a document with graphic descriptions of coworkers. Further investigation by NBC's Washington I-4 News team revealed that almost 100 cases of federal employees across the government watching egregious amounts of pornography while at work. I would also like to acknowledge the great reporting of Mr. McFarland and the I-4 News team as they looked into this matter, and their work is one that gets pulled into this because they also found that they had a former federal FBI employee who had both adult and child pornography on his work computer. It also includes U.S. Patent and Trademark Office employees who had made over 1,800 connections to pornographic websites while at work. This is not only disturbing, but it creates an unhealthy work environment that must be addressed. Agencies generally have policies against using federal computers for unauthorized purposes, but some do not have explicit policies against watching pornography. What is worse is the federal government does not have a zero-tolerance policy for this kind of misbehavior across their agencies. The committee is in the process reviewing the penalties that can be assessed across agencies and those guidelines. And as the NBC Washington report notes, penalties for using government property to assess sexually explicit material vary from agency to agency. For example, the U.S. Secret Service and FTA provide guidance allowing for adverse actions ranging from written reprimands to removal. This one is a no-brainer. Watching pornography at work should be strictly prohibited and grounds for removal. This bill will send a clear message that the practice is unacceptable, and I urge my colleagues to support this bill as it passed by voice vote in the 114th Congress, and I yield back.
Gentleman.